Small businesses affected by the coronavirus pandemic can begin applying for much-needed loans under the federal Paycheck Protection Programs as early as tomorrow.
Under the program, the small business is going to be eligible for loans to pay up to 8 weeks of payroll costing, including benefits. The program is under the $2 trillion stimulus package that Congress passed last week. But unlike those loans, these could be eligible for forgiveness.
Joining us now is Mattie Duppler, Senior Fellow at the National Taxpayers Union. Mattie, thank you for being with us on the program this morning. So tomorrow's the date when people can start applying. How critical is this program for small businesses?
This could be the lifeline that allows small businesses to stay open throughout the course of this pandemic. Now, you mentioned before that these loans may be forgiven. That is also a crucial component of this program. Small businesses can start applying tomorrow, but that doesn't mean they have to wait to talk to their bank. I would encourage all small businesses to call their bank or their credit union and ask if they are eligible for these loans, because another element of the bill is that the requirements needed to qualify for a loan are streamlined and much lower than some traditional small business loans. So most businesses out there will be able to qualify, and those loans can be forgiven if they use the money from that program for payroll costs, for their utilities, for their rent or their mortgage interest payments. That's crucial because that could allow businesses to keep their doors open, even if they furloughed their workers and their workers can't come into work. They can keep their doors open, hopefully until the end of the virus.
Okay, so if a small business has furloughed their employees and then they apply for this loan, they get the money, do they bring them back or do they pay them? How does that work? Do we know?
Yeah, that's the great part about this legislation. It actually allows these employers to rehire the folks that they had to lay off. And as we know, every day, employers are making this decision whether or not they can keep their doors open. So if they've already had to lay off some of their employees, they are still eligible for this program. They can still apply and they can rehire those workers and still qualify for that loan forgiveness, which will be huge. We, of course, keep seeing the unemployment claims increase as employers are making those decisions to lay off their workers. This may help stem the tide as employers across the country have the resources to keep their employees on payroll.
Which is wonderful news for all of those employees. Let's talk briefly about the business owners themselves. What's going to happen to them when they aren't making this revenue that they're used to bringing in?
Well, the thought with this payment protection program is that it will allow businesses to at least coast for the next 8 weeks. We know that they probably won't be turning a profit because they won't have customers. But listen, that has been the necessary component of trying to keep this pandemic at bay, right? It's the fact that we had to hit pause on the economy, and most businesses don't have customers waiting to use their services. So by the virtue of these loans, they'll be able to at least keep their doors open and keep their workers on payroll. The idea being that when the virus threat is finally contained and they can open their doors back up, they'll be able to get back online much more quickly than if they have to lay off all their workers. Because, of course, rehiring, training, those are huge pressures on employers' budgets. So if they're able to retain the same staff, that's going to allow these workers and these employers to get back online. Ultimately, that's going to allow the economy to recover much more quickly than they otherwise would be able to without this kind of support from the federal government.
This can be big for getting an income to so many people out there right now, Mattie. How do business owners that may be leery of applying for this loan, and you touched on this a little bit earlier about getting forgiveness for this loan, how do they know if they would qualify for such a thing?
So there's a lot of really great resources out there. You can check out the website treasury.gov or SBA.gov. That's the Small Business Administration. The Chamber of Commerce also has really great resources that walks employers through how they can qualify for these loans. And then your local Chamber of Commerce as well is equipped to help navigate some of those questions that small businesses may have. But I encourage small businesses to call their lenders and ask them what they need to do in order to qualify for these loans. All of the most of the lenders, the banks, the credit unions that small businesses are already using are going to be the conduits through which these small business loans flow. So they'll be your primary resource in terms of getting you that money. So you're welcome to call them up and just ask them what's the information you're looking for. The SBA itself has streamlined the process. They have the application right online. You can start filling it out online today.
Awesome. Good deal. We need to have some good news here. We appreciate that.
Exactly.
Mattie Duppler, Senior Fellow at the National Taxpayers Union. Thank you very much. Stay safe.